So here's a short story which once again proves why, in my opinion, and I've been doing this long enough, it is far better for the guy, the boyfriend, and certainly the husband to make more money than the wife or girlfriend. And in this story here, this wife here is going to Reddit looking for pity and complaining how she's resentful of her husband because she makes significantly more money than him and supposedly works more hours than him and is feeling just wronged and all that, and it is completely ridiculous. And wait till you hear the circumstances behind the details here, how this all came about. That she's trying to make him out to be just some loser bum. He's not. She's where she is because of him. But the second she starts making more money and all that, boom, she's got reason to complain, all that, and is definitely getting torn apart in Reddit. Titled, "How can I, a 32-year-old female, not feel resentful that I make significantly more money and work significantly more hours than my husband, a 36-year-old male?" Now listen to this. She says, "I'm 32 years old, been married for almost 7 years to my husband, a 36-year-old male. When we first got married, I made around $60,000 a year. We got married, and I went back to school for 3 hard and stressful years, where he, making that clear, provided financially for both of us. And now I make $225,000 a year." Okay, make this clear. She chose, once they got married, notice once they got married, then she decided to go back to school, and he paid for everything during school. She didn't have to work at all. If you looked at the tax returns, there was only one W-2, and it was him paying for everything so she could go to school. He financed everything. And that time period, obviously there was no problem with him and his income. Now watch this. He makes around $85,000 a year. Okay, it's 85 grand a year, benefits and all that. All right, cool. I have a highly stressful job in healthcare and work around, listen to this tragedy, guys, 45 hours per week. She's making out to be like she works like freaking 80 hours a week. Lady, 45 is pretty standard. But remember, she's 32 years old. If you guys didn't catch on to this, I'll point it out. What demographic is 32 years old? Millennials, late stage millennials. Millennials are watching this. You got to admit, you got your generation has a rep. I know it's all about the Gen Z now. They're even worse, but the millennials, especially late stage, tend to be, 45 hours a week. Whoopee. That's standard. But anyhow, he's very lucky and works from home. And I would say average works 2 hours a week. I know that sounds crazy, but it's just how his job works apparently. There is no way this guy works 2 hours a week and makes $85,000 a year. If this is true, shit, sign me up. I'll do YouTube and I'll do his job for 2 hours a week, 85 grand a year plus benefits. Sounds good to me. Shit, I'll work 10 hours a week and make 85 grand a year if that's what they want. Come on. Women exaggerate, and of course she is. He works from home, and I guarantee she's resentful because he works from home too. We're not done yet. He's very sweet, makes me my smoothie and coffee in the morning as I have to leave pretty early for work, around 5:45 in the morning. He does the grocery shopping during the day, and if I ask him to clean something in the house, he'll do it without complaining. So how is he the devil here? Oh, by the way, obviously, because he works from home, he probably doesn't have to get up at 5:45 in the morning, but he does that for her. He gets up at 5:45, makes her a smoothie, everything because he's showing his appreciation. Does the grocery shopping, will do things, cleaning in the house without complaining, even though he's working his full-time job regardless of her 2-hour nonsense. I don't see how he's the devil here, but we're not done. The issue I cannot help but feel resentful for is the fact that not only do I make significantly more money, but also have to work over 40 hours a week when I know he's at home playing video games much of the day and only actually having to work a small part of the day. Maybe he just has to answer a few emails. That is a load of crap. I guarantee you he works vastly more than that. And back to her, I have to work more than 40 hours. You say you work 45 hours. Whoopee. Big deal. That's nothing. Most people that make $225 a year at her age at 32, which is impressive, I'll give her that. They're working 60 plus easily. Women, they loathe when guys play video games. Now, personally, I think there's a point where it's time to put away the console. But I'm of a different generation, so I know a lot of younger guys. It's different. They socialize with their bros by playing the games. Fair enough. But women don't like it when guys sit around. If a guy has a job that he's making good money, maybe even if a guy made more money than his wife, but she had to work more hours and he's actually relaxing, God forbid, do they get mad when the guy's relaxing? They expect the guy to be doing something all the time. When I get off work around 7 p.m., he won't have dinner ready unless I specifically ask him to make X, Y, Z, or on the way home from work. On top of that, certain things aren't taken care of that I wish would be without me having to specifically ask for them to be taken care of. Okay, so here we go with the whole typical wife wants husband to be a mind reader thing. Men and women are different, and we're different how to communicate, but just say, but they want guys to be mind readers. We're not fucking bunch of Professor Xavier's here. We can't read minds. Just say what you want. And the whole, he should know how I feel. He should want to do it anyway. We're fucking different. Just communicate what you want, sweetheart. For example, we forgot about the homestead exemption this year, so we missed out on that. That's a thing for your taxes. You can get a discount on your property taxes. They have that here in Florida. Since he stays home, I wish those kinds of things were taken care of without me having to remind him. Look, guys, we're wired a certain way. We tend to let some things go. I wouldn't let the property tax thing go to get a better deal, but still. I would love to be able to stay at home, especially if we were able to have children in the future. But the difference is if they were turned around, I would have dinner ready for him when he got home, and he wouldn't have to ask me to do different things around the house during the day. They would just be done. This might be the difference between a man and a woman. Yes, it is the difference between a man and a woman, okay? And men and women are different. That's okay. That's why you got married to a man, not a woman, because you like the opposites and you're attracted to men. But already I can feel that jab. If we were to have kids one day, well, obviously she's going to be resentful because she makes the big bulk of the money. I still respect her success and her income, but she's going to, I guarantee, be resentful of him because she'll have to go work after having the kids. I have a decision fatigue at work, so when he asks what I want for dinner, I just kind of wish he would say, hey, we're having X, Y, Z for dinner, see you when we get there. We've talked about all this before, but he hasn't seemed to get it any better for me. So I'll give her this. Like, this is an example that women like a guy to lead, and frankly, yeah, just take care of dinner. But the thing is, I bet you the guy isn't doing it to be difficult. He's doing it to be courteous. Hey, babe, you had a long day at work. Would you like chicken parmesan for dinner? Would you like this for dinner? Not, and have her bite his head. Why don't you just make a decision? Well, what if he then just decided to make chicken parmesan for dinner or whatever the hell it is that he would make? Then I'd have a hard time believing that she wouldn't be on here bitching saying, he never asked me what I want for dinner. He just goes ahead and does it. I think there's no making this chick happy. I still feel resentful when I call him after a long, stressful day and ask what's for dinner. And he says, well, we'll have salmon and beef. We can make, what do you want? I do want to have children, but I feel like I'm still have to work full time and make most of the decisions with them and have to do most of the child rearing. You see the exaggerations here? The problem with these two is there's no communication. She, again, just wants him to just know these things, you know? And while there are certain things, I'll say, that when it comes to being a man, a woman shouldn't teach a guy to be a freaking man. So when, a lot of times women get fed up when men don't act like men and they don't want to have to teach them to do that, that's fine. But this is on a different level. This is playing house together about chores and meals and stuff like that. And if she has a beef with things, communicate, not just let it all build up and be resentful, because at the end of the day, she's just pissed off that she, has a job she doesn't like and, which she chose to do. And let's go back to the fact that he supported her. She's shitting on him for his job and shitting on him for his income and all those other things. But this guy was she getting up to make him smoothies and things like that early in the morning when she was going to school? He was probably making her smoothies for school. He supported her. She has his career, makes all that money because of him. And if she's not so happy, Okay, they can get a divorce. And guess what would happen? She makes all the bigger amount of money. He'd be getting some alimony, especially since it was he that supported her for 3.5 years, as you saw right here, while she was getting her degree to get this high level job. And believe me, there would be a lawyer out there to think that he'd be owed something because of that. So she better watch it. How can I not feel resentful of making more money, working significantly more hours every week with a stressful job, and then having to ask for things around the house to be done while he's at home? Please help and thanks in advance. This is a throwaway account. God Almighty. Again, back to a lot of these problems be solved just to communicate. But the thing is, no communication will change the fact that she's just an asshole. You know? Yeah, okay, certain things it'd be easier for her if he would think of certain things. But I guarantee you, he isn't just, unless this dude like designs video games and as he's playing video games all the time because that's part of his job, I don't know, testing things out, which is possible. I don't think he's working 2 hours a week, but I think it's vastly more, but women tend to exaggerate and leave things out when they're pissed off and resentful. I just think that the fact that she hates the fact that his is an easy life, and because she chose this life and she has to obviously do a lot more. But again, 225 at 32 years old and working 45 hours a week, whoopee. Whoopee. But again, this is my point. This is why it's always better that the guy makes more money. Because I guarantee you that if he was making more money, don't get me wrong, this chick would be bitching about something, but it wouldn't be nearly in this dynamic here. If I'm this guy, and if he's fully aware, and obviously he's not fully aware of her carrying on bitching and complaining, and by the way, a lot of women just love to bitch and complain, believe me, he might be thinking twice to continue this. I think he had to cut her loose. And again, I'm sure any lawyer watching this would be like, well, let's see, she makes that amount of money, way more than him, almost triple what he makes, and he supported those 3.5 years, and she didn't earn a dime during that time period. Yeah, he's entitled to something. Wouldn't it be interesting with all this bitching and complaining? He discovered this post on Reddit and said, we're getting a divorce, and then she owes him money. Oh, you can imagine the bitching and complaining then. But anyhow, the comment section is overwhelmingly giving her a hard time. I'll read a few emails here, or posts here, because she's being ridiculous. One guy says here, hey, OP, for the 3 years where you were studying and your husband supported you both financially, did you have dinner ready for him every night? And did you do all the chores without being asked to? Please provide an honest answer. Good question. There was no answer. The other guy says here, so you're resentful that, number one, your husband supported you so you could chase your dreams. 2, he is not a mind reader. 3, you're getting the lifestyle you work for, the hours and the salary. 4, he isn't picking up the load with the hypothetical children you do not have. And 5, that he isn't as miserable as you. Lady, you're cracked. The only reason you're running your mouth like this is because you make more money than he does. I hope he leaves you. You'll find how these cold streets are and how your money will never replace the man you clearly do not value. There you go. And there are a lot more, but we're getting pretty long here at this video, so I'm going to cut it loose. So anyhow, guys, there you go. I don't care what anybody says and how politically incorrect it is. I'm going to say it anyway. It's always better when the guy makes more money and can provide because, look, I've done too many of these things. I don't think there's this level of complaining before she got that new job. And now that she's got that job, now feels entitled to and is crapping on the same guy that the reason she has that income and that job is because of him. There you go.